Life comes back full circle. Today, Sujaya, you have inspired us, you inspired me, so hearty compliments. I think it all comes back. I just want to start off with a little story. One dog was telling another dog a few days back, I have some good news for you. So the dog said, what's this good news? He said, the world is going to the dogs. And if you look at data, it's not really very far from the truth. 75% of the world's original farmland has been destroyed. 75%. In the last 40 years, 30% of the world's arable land is gone, finished. 200 oceanic dead zones exist in the oceans, but there's nothing now. No coral, no fish, nothing. 200 dead zones. And 85% of the planet's population owns just 10% of the income. Right? So many times I think we are like people shuffling the chairs on the Titanic as the ship is heading towards an iceberg. And if you look deeper into this, there is a crisis of governance and there is a crisis of leadership. I think Prakash beautifully highlighted that. It's a huge crisis of governance and leadership. And I think, as you put it very beautifully, a crisis of character. If you look deeper into that, it's a crisis of learning and OD. And I think this couldn't be a better time initiative for Pune, that it's learning and OD which leaders and governments have to think about. So I'm really, really happy that we're doing this at the launch of the inaugural session of the Pune chapter. And what I intend to do is basically talk about what does an expansive organization mean, expansive organizations and restrictive organizations. What does that have to do with the spiritual quotient? What is this spiritual quotient? I was sitting there meditating in the morning and some people remarked at least he's practicing what he's going to preach. So, what does this have to do with the spiritual quotient? And finally, in the spirit of L&OD roundtable, what are the few actionable points that you can take back, that we can take back, to make our organizations more expansive, to raise the spiritual quotient of ourselves as leaders and then our organization. Okay. So let's start with a little bit about this restrictive organization and expansive organization. A researcher in 2001 called Engstrom, he talked about the expansive learning organization. He did some research on the expansive learning organization. And then another person called Fuller and Arun in 2004 came up with this theory that you have two kinds of organizations which facilitate learning or don't. One is the restrictive organization, which for me will be, for a moment, these chairs over here, and I'll talk about what these chairs are in a minute. Restrictive organization, can I have the Arun also? And that's this side of the stage, and the expansive organization, which is on this side. So can you guess what is a restrictive organization? Can anyone guess? Which impede and resist people's growth, that restrict people's growth. And what do you think these chairs symbolize?
Control.
Sorry? Control, yes, very good. I think what else? Structure. Restrictions. What kind of restrictions? Ideas, thoughts. This is the way, this is the right answer, and if you're not sitting on this right answer, no, that's not good, right? And Also silos. How many of you have heard this thing? I wish we could get rid of the silos. How many have heard this? Yeah, everyone. Exactly. So this is about getting stuck with silos. It's not about not having structure. You need structure. But when we get stuck with structures, structures in the mind, structures in the organization which restrict our thinking, restrict our, what else? Communication, ideation, action, thought, and sharing and exchange. Do you think all this is going to happen in a restrictive organization where everyone is holding on to their own entrenched positions and judgments, and you are not okay, and this is not okay, and those guys are the villains, and etc. Right? So this is a restrictive organization. It needs learning, it resists learning, and how do you think people feel in this organization? How do they feel? Sitting in these silos, sitting in these tight mental positions, how do they feel? Suffocated, insecure, and that's why they cling more and more to these little chairs. Are you getting it? And on the other hand is the expansive organization. As we move to this side where there is more fluency, more openness. Right? It's a what-if kind of organization where there's more play. Where we can, it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to say, hey, I don't know. Exactly what Sujay was saying in the morning, that it's okay to fail sometimes. And say, I don't know. And let's play, let's experiment, let's find out, let's move, let's exchange. What are you doing? What are you doing? What's happening here? So there's more fluency here and more exchange here, and this is the expansive organization. Are you getting it? And by the way, fluency leads to influence and affluence. It's not a coincidence. The more fluency there is, there's more influence and there's more affluence. Why? Why do you think this creates more wealth? A fluent, expansive organization creates more wealth. Why is that? More bonding happens, trust happens. What else happens? The best solutions come out. A teaches B, B teaches C, and suddenly you say, hey, I've done that before, and so on. So this is an energized learning organization. And how do you think people are feeling here in the expansive organization? Empowered, self-motivated, energized, entrepreneurial, excellent, right? And very, very free. Is it? So is this clear? The restrictive organization and the expansive organization. Is it clear? Now one thing, now you might say that what is the benefit of this expansive organization? I think you've said it, but I'd like to give you a little acronym. LIFE. So there's more learning and laughter in the expansive organization. L, more learning and laughter. I, can you guess? Innovation, excellent. There's more innovation. There is more inspiration here in the expansive organization. Right? F, more fun and more freedom. And E, I think Prakash has talked of 4 E's. Which of these can you find here? Energy, enthusiasm, ease, and joy. Right? So if you have a thing called the joy meter, joy, energy, enthusiasm, peace, in the restrictive organization, it's joy, energy, enthusiasm, peace is here, and in the expansive organization, it's on the other side. Now, don't get too worried that am I there or am I here? We're all somewhere here. It's a continuum. It's not a, that's bad, all those are bad and all these are good. No, we're all somewhere on the continuum. Okay. So this is really this is a very interesting theory called restrictive and expansive organizations 2004. Okay, now coming back to SQ. What does all this have to do with SQ and what is SQ? Have you heard of IQ? We've heard of IQ, and what are the other Qs you've heard of? Besides this Q, you are in the Q. EQ, GQ. What's GQ? Now, Aman, that's new. What's GQ? Let's give him a hand for invention. Let's give him a hand. I love that. Velocity coefficient. Wow. Okay, the knowns are intelligence, analytically looking at things. SQ, I'll come to SQ. EQ is emotional intelligence, right? Being sensitive to my own feelings. being sensitive to other people's feelings and learning how to manage my feelings and others' feelings, that's EQ. Now there's a new thing in a book called Conscious Capitalism by Raj Sisodia and the leader of Whole Foods Corporation has written along with Raj Sisodia a beautiful book called Conscious Capitalism. They talk of another Q there called SYQ, systemic thinking. The intelligence to look at the context and connections. Can I see the connections? So there's IQ, EQ and SYQ, systems intelligence. Very, very important in leaders, believe me, very, very important. And if we say that these Qs are about the know-how and the know-what, SQ is about the know-why. The know-why, the deeper why. Why are we doing business? Is business for life or is life for business? You tell me. Is life for business or business is for life?
Not so easy.
If you go to Bombay and you see the commuters in the morning, it looks like as if life is for business. Like my whole life, my family, my children, my everything, my Sundays, my weekend, my ease, my joy, my health is all sacrificed for the altar of business. Can we in L&OD make it the other way around? Can we have it the other way around? Can business be for life? And the spiritual coefficient simply says, yes, it can be, if you understand a few simple things. That anything that is limited is not who you are. You're not the body, you're not the mind, you're not the role. You are infinite. Your infinite awareness, your infinite consciousness. And this infinite side of you, not the transient side, not the ephemeral side, if we can learn to be with that beautiful center, that center of light, if we can be with that, that is the foundation of oneness, that is the foundation for openness, and the foundation for character and values and integration and inspiration and innovation. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what SQ is about. SQ is about the context that holds everything that we provide. And it's real. It's not a airy-fairy thing. There's a lot of research on this. So if that is SQ, now can you imagine what will happen as people start opening up their minds, connecting with this profound space of joy and peace and power within? What do you think will happen to organizations? As people open up by expanding their SQ, what will happen to the organization? It opens up. When people clamor, I say clap, and you have to clap when I say clap. 1, 2, 3. I never said clap. As L&OD professionals, people will watch you and copy you. Leadership is taught and not taught. Values are caught and not taught. So first, can I raise my SQ? How do I do that? AAG, fire. First, awareness. Can I be aware of what is permanent and what is eternal and what is infinite and what is finite? Can I raise that consciousness? Can I remember, is this going to last? Is this nitya? Is this anitya? Awareness. Second, appreciation. Tremendous appreciation for things. What is going well in the organization? What is going well in life? And you may have heard of appreciative inquiry. Let me start with what is going well. It expands your thinking. It expands. Negativity, what's wrong, contracts. Appreciation expands. It brings you to look at the celebration of what is good about us and good about life. And believe me, there's plenty. Even though the dogs were saying that the world is going to the dog, believe me, lovely things are happening in Pune city, for example. Beautiful things. So appreciation, the third is gratitude. Raise your GQ, gratitude coefficient. Be grateful. There's so much to be grateful. And on the organizational level, I think Sujay has already told you many of the things they're doing in L&OD, open space technology, conversation cafe, opportunities for deep dialogue and conversation. Bring that into your organization. Let's bring open space technology into your organization. Let's bring conversation cafe into your organization. Let's have song and dance and music in your organization so that we can mingle, so that we can interact freely and joyfully, following our heart and our passion, and connect, collaborate, cooperate from a space of deep character and deep silence and joy within. So these are a few things, and I'd be happy to share more when we sit together. So just to summarize, the world is in a crisis of governance and leadership. A lot of that has to do with the way our organizations are structured, restrictive or expansive. That in turn depends upon how restricted or expansive is our thinking, is our consciousness. And when we raise our SQ through connecting with a deeper source of infinity and silence and peace, we expand our capacity to love, to learn, to interact. Inspiration goes up, innovation goes up. And this, as L&OD professionals, will enable us to create the organizations that will be proud to hand over to our children and grandchildren, and a planet, a Mother Earth that works for all people, which is what I think life is all about. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.